It's Thursday, June the 2nd. Lake level is still about 7 feet high. It's like 922 and a half, and it's been pretty consistent the last few days. Water temperature depends where you're at on the lake, but it's anywhere 68 to low 70s. Kind of been all over the lake. The reason I didn't do a fishing report yesterday is we waited out the rain, didn't go out till late, and I got in late. And I was down in the dam area, and I was down in the dam area again today. But I've been, pretty much all over the lake. But that dam area is actually not my favorite end of the lake to be at this time of year because of the boat traffic, and a bite gets a little tougher down there. Now, it was like night and day. Yesterday, we really struggled in the afternoon. Today, we really caught them good down there in the morning. And it seems like that morning bite, if you can get in the right area for a couple hours, it's still really good to topwater bite. The key is you got to be around where the shad are spawning. The first couple we caught were around some deep docks. Docks come out to about 30, 40 feet. And you'll know when you're in the right area because you'll see and hear the shad, and you'll actually hear some fish feeding in the boat slips. And they're kind of doing the same thing out in front of some of the bushes on the flats as well. But, we caught them on top on walking baits and like a jointed redfin or a surge shad. Another way you can catch them on top is on a fluke. Poppers will work. It's kind of whatever you like to throw as far as a topwater. I like to throw a walking bait. I have a lot of my clients throw the wake bait because it's an easy bait to throw. Basically, all you got to do with that surge shad is cast it out and reel it in. But today, we probably had a limit in the boat, about 715 or so. Some real good smallmouths, a couple of largemouths. And topwater bite, stayed pretty good for us till about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And we caught fish on main lake points down there by the dam, in the creeks. And it seemed like the further in the creeks we went, it was more apt to catch largemouth. But also back in them creeks, we started getting into a lot of white bass that were busted. Now, the whites wouldn't stay up too long, and there were big schools, big groups that would come up. But they'd only stay up for like 30 seconds. But once they showed you where they were, you could go out there and get over the top of them with like a white jigging spoon and either vertical fish them, depends how deep they went down, or you could cast that spoon and work it through them. Like an underspin will work, a swim bait, a lot of different baits. But, I've been able to catch them down there in the dam area throughout the day and throughout the lake flipping. But it's a slow bite flipping, and I've been flipping several different baits. Still probably catching more fish on a creature style bait, but I'm starting to catch some fish on, I've been throwing 5-fish ultimate cover jigs. The color that seems to be working real good for me is a California 420, and I'm using, this one's got a College Craw Junior by Big Bite on it. This one's got a Kamikaze Craw, but it seemed like something with the tails that got doing a lot of flapping, a lot of action, working good. And the colors, like the California 420 is a dark watermelon with a little black and red in it. This one here, the brown trout, it's got some brown, green pumpkin, and red flake. And these colors are working, throughout the lake. And the same on the creature baits, like a California 420, green pumpkin with a little bit of purple. The thing is, it's hard to figure out exactly what type of bush and what type of tree they're on. With the lake being 7 foot high, there's still a lot of cover, from where the bushes are to the shoreline. And the areas that seem to be the best for me, if I'm flipping by a point or little cuts, bluff cuts can be real good, where some of them, they're just big enough to, maybe 150 feet, 200 feet in and out. It's a little bit steeper banks, a little bit less cover in the water, a little bit less cover to pick apart. But otherwise, you basically just got to put the trolling motor down. One day they'll be on the willow trees, another day they'll be on the hardwoods. Some days they'll be, right in the center of the bushes. But, down there at the dam and, pretty much all over the lake, there's more and more fish that are getting rested up from spawning and starting to move out deep. The only problem is down lake, I think they're a little bit further behind. There's not as many fish out there yet where you got to hit, 5 or 6 points. Yesterday in the afternoon, like I say, where we really struggled, I could catch a few on a Carolina rig, like using a Zoom centipede or French fry. And we caught some on wobbleheads with different baits. This one's got a big bite kamikaze craw on it, and I'm throwing a 1/2 ounce or 5/8, and I'm fishing these anywhere from 25 to 30 foot deep. I'm setting the boat 30 to 35 feet deep, just fishing a lot of them long main lake flat gravel points. This one's got a Zoom finesse worm. You can use like a speed craw. You can use a lot of different baits on it. But like I say, the fish do not pile up out there yet. I had to hit several points to get 1 or 2 bites. Now, when I was up in Baxter, the Campbell Point area, and up around from Ants Creek on up, there's more and more fish out there on that deeper offshore structure. I think them fish are further along. There's more that are done spawning and, got rested up. So when you get on a point where you can catch a fish, you can catch several off of 1 point. Sometimes they're right on the bottom where I'll use the Carolina rig, a football jig, or the wobblehead. Other times I can take a deep diving crankbait and work it off those ledges. And what I mean by a ledge is some of them long flat points where you got a channel on one side where the majority of the point is flat until it rolls off into the channel, and that's like a drop, pretty hard drop. Yeah, in the mornings they'll be up on top in that 12 to 15 foot. As the day goes on, you got to go out further out on the points or down the sides where it drops off in the channel. And then fish are getting, as the sun gets up, when the sun does get up, they're out there a little bit deeper. But I know a lot of people don't like fishing in the rain and the overcast, but this time of year, I mean, you can have some of your best days when it's raining, as long as the lightning stays away. But, they'll bite a topwater, kind of throughout the day. And some of my topwater fish are coming right in them same bushes that I'm flipping throughout the day. And we've been able to catch some on a buzzbait up there, especially in like people's backyards. And as far as the color of the buzzbait, we've thrown both black and white. And I like a big bite, 3/8 ounce with it's got a frog that's already on it, no skirt, with a black blade. Seems like a buzzbait without a skirt with a frog trailer. It throws a lot better. It doesn't catch the wind as much, and the frogs give it a lot better action. I usually don't use a trailer hook right now because I'm throwing in so much trash and brush. It just helps for the bait from getting hung up. But them fish are starting to get out there, on the summertime patterns. It'll be a little bit before we develop a thermocline in the lake, but I am catching some on a drop shot. And how I'm rigging that, as far as the drop shot worm, I'm using several different worms, but a Strike King KVD Dream Shot works good. A Chompers Brown Purple Lamb will work good. A Zoom Little Finesse worm will work good. But I'll rig them up a few different ways. I usually like to rig it up with about a 16-inch below the hook and put my weight. Sometimes if I'm using straight monofilament, I'll tie a little swivel up here about 1 foot above the hook to help keep the twist out of the line. This particular rod, I've got 15-pound braid on it and 15-pound sun braid, and then I've got 6-pound fluorocarbon leader on it. And I'm throwing it on a medium action or a light action halo. I think it's a 6/8 or 7-foot spinner rod. Let me see. No, this is a 7-foot medium action. I like a real soft rod for a drop shot, kind of the same type of rod you'd use on a Ned rig. But I like anywhere from a 6/8 to a 7-foot. Like I say, real soft tip. But these fish are out there on the end of them long flat gravel points. Seems to be anywhere from 28 to 35 feet deep. Right now, most of the ones I'm catching are right off of the bottom. But if I get on some of these deep docks like I was talking about where the topwater bite can be in the morning, You can catch some out there around the cables, and they're apt to be 25 to 30 suspended out there over the 50-foot. So, you know, I think the summertime bite is starting to happen, but we've had, you know, pretty cool weather for the most part. I think everything's way behind as far as what the fish are doing and the water temperatures, because the water temperature, like I say, it's low 70s. And the good thing about it is not a lot of people out there water skiing and wave running on these cooler days, so, you know, the boat traffic stays down. But it seems like, you know, if I'm down lake, I got to catch them early. But the other arms of the lake, like up around Baxter, Campbell Point, Shell Knob, and the James River, I can catch them throughout the day and try to, you know, I can stay away from some of the boat traffic where you can get in the creeks and still catch fish throughout the day. So until next week, good luck, good fishing.